Taurus, this is a week of major changes. Not necessarily horribly impacting you, but let's gear up for this, okay? Let's talk about it. Taurus, this is your week ahead astrology forecast from Astrology Motivation by Born Without Boundaries Tarot. Born Without Boundaries. I also have Born Without Boundaries Tarot. My name is Michelle, and welcome to your week ahead astrology forecast, Taurus. The way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to review all the major planetary aspects and transits that are going to impact and how they impact your natal sun. Now, some of you will be more impacted than others by major events that are happening. We're going to start as broad as possible. So those things that are impacting all of you, everybody, not just Tauruses. And then we're going to talk about the things that are just impacting Tauruses overall. And then I'm going to break down the zodiac sign of Taurus into 3 sections. If your natal sun is between 0 and 10 degrees Taurus, you are Taurus 1s because your natal sun falls in the first decant or group of 10 degrees of Taurus. If your natal sun is between 10 and 20 degrees, then you are decant 2 or Taurus 2s, and of course Taurus 3s. If your natal sun falls between 20 and 30 or 20 and 29 degrees Taurus, you are decant 3 or Taurus 3s. So let's start as broad as possible because there are huge transits that are going to impact us all. And number one is Pluto. Pluto is moving, and Pluto hasn't moved since 2008. And when Pluto moves, it is with a heavy stick. It is not subtle. It is not friendly. It is ruthless and unavoidable, and we will all feel it. And there is a specific group of you guys in particular that is in direct square to this planetary motion. So we got to take kind of like brace for impact. I guess is the best way to say about it, like the best way to talk about it. Pluto has not been in Aquarius since 1778. That was during the revolution in the United States, but the revolution in the United States was not the only thing that was there's a lot of revolutions that were happening around that time, because think of what Aquarius means. Aquarius means social justice or freedom and equality for all. It is also a sense of outside of the box thinking, new ideas, ingenuity. All of those things are Aquarian concerns, and so Pluto comes in like a wrecking ball and is like, we're not going to take it anymore. You talk about rebellion and revolution because Aquarius is the sign of revolution. So what are those revolutions going to be? Will they be social revolutions? Will they be legal revolutions? Or will they be different kind of revolutions that kind of evolve us as a human society overall? Great discoveries, huge scientific breakthroughs. I think we have been leading up to that, and I certainly discussed that into last year, November of last year. There were just all signs pointing to a major scientific discovery that proved certain spiritual aspects correct. Things that had been written off as spirituality or just hoo-hoo or, fairy tales, proving that correct. So there's a lot of things that could happen. I'm going to be waiting to see, just like you. But believe me, brace for impact, because like I said, Pluto doesn't move lightly, and the last time it moved, there was a huge financial fallout, 2008 to 2009, within a year. Now Pluto moves slowly, so it may not have impact boom today, because today is March 23rd. So this is when Pluto moves into Aquarius. It may not happen today, like doomsday. Could take a year, could take 2 years. Ultimately, though, it won't take more than that for us to start feeling these waves of change that are going to be happening globally. Absolutely. Pluto defines a generation. So this is a new era that is starting. And it's by generation. This is like the generation of Pluto and Aquarius. So who is going to change our society and how? It's going to be major, maybe transgressions, I guess. We'll see. We will see. Now, what affects all Tauruses in particular, you always look to see where Venus is, because Venus is your ruling dignitary. Just like as a Cancerian, I always check to see where the moon is. Everybody calls us moody because the moon is changing signs every 2.5 days. So there is a shift of almost personality in some ways. So Venus is now in Taurus at home. So there's a comfort level or a comfort zone with you guys. It may be a comfort with yourself, especially those who are still in Taurus 1, the first decan of Taurus. Venus is going to be conjunct your natal suns, has been for a couple of days, for a while now. So honestly, there's a sense of romance and attractiveness about you that will really work out in your favor, a comfort with the self. But Venus, by the end of this week, will move into the second decan or mid-Taurus, and she will conjunct Uranus. So that will happen by Sunday of this week. How does that impact all of you? Well, there is a romanticism around the odd. There is a romanticism around revolution. There is a romanticism and an attractiveness to change or things that are strange and different and you haven't tried yet. So, and a comfort because it's all happening in Taurus. Like it's a comfort with discomfort and change because there's an attractiveness about it. So let's now take that into the more specifics and understand you guys in a more specific way. We'll dig down. Taurus ones, those of you who are born those of you with your natal sun, most especially those of you with your natal sun in the first couple of degrees of Taurus. So I would say between 0 and 3 degrees of Taurus, you guys are going to be square to Pluto as it enters Aquarius. You're already square to Pluto because Pluto was at the very end degree of Capricorn. So there was still that 5-degree window of square, of actually adding up to a square to that 90 degrees. So, well, it could be like 85 degrees, but that's still a square. So that's tension and that's challenge. And so whatever happens or whatever changes start to happen as Pluto enters Aquarius, they will drum up obstacles for you. You can expect, this isn't just a day thing. This is going to be for the next year or two that Pluto is square to you guys and definitely square to Decant 1. I mean, Pluto doesn't move fast. So expect that your natal suns are going to be challenged by what is being wrecked, what is falling down, what is collapsing, maybe struggling with authority to a certain degree. So this is not necessarily, so squares aren't necessarily horrible in that they do offer, if you learn from the challenges, if you face them and you learn from them, it could offer you a great deal of progress on the other side. But there are going to be bumps in the road, guys. And so just understand that for the next couple of years, that Taurus ones, and like I said, the first of you, the earliest Tauruses are going to get the worst of it because that's where the impact strikes. That's when Pluto first makes the change. And whenever that transit first happens, that energy switch is like the biggest. It's like jumping into water. Even if it's kind of warm, it feels cold. It's just a completely different environment. It shocks you. So there is that sense of it will impact you guys the greatest and the most. And you should probably already be feeling it. You will definitely feel it. Change. And the change really kind of causing a kerfuffle in your life or discombobulating things, which causes a chain reaction of challenges with other things. But I tell you, it will open your mind to realities that you weren't aware of before. Now, Taurus ones, you are also conjunct, your natal suns are also conjunct the North Node. But this is really interesting because today you're conjunct the North Node, you're conjunct Venus until Sunday, and you're conjunct the Moon because the Moon is with you guys today, or on Thursday. So that's, I'm assuming you're watching it Thursday, the 22nd. So that's actually a real comfort, a kind of comfort with where I'm headed, the challenges that I have to face and where I want to go. And with Venus there's a sense of harmony and almost just feeling good about it and having this optimistic start off point. By Saturday, Venus will have moved past Taurus 1 into Taurus 2. Taurus 1's your natal suns are also sextile to Saturn. Even though they're square to Pluto, so all this craziness around you is going to cause some hiccups, a sextile to Saturn, and that's going to be for the next year, is really going to be very favorable, really help you out in career, help you out in progress or knowing what you want to build out into the world. Opportunity through with the law, with authority figures, all of those things are going to offer you opportunity. And honestly, like I would take it. You would also be on the other side, be sextile to Mars. So your natal sun's being sextile to Mars is like there's this energy. There's this way to like that, like you have a grapple on energy. You have an opportunity to do something, to be more physical. Being more physical might be something that is natural to you right now. Mars is part of a grand water trine, so there's sort of a harmony and a gentleness about it. Overall, I think it's a great week for you guys, and it could be a really productive year. For Taurus 2s, on Sunday, Venus will conjunct the earliest of your natal sun. So maybe, I know. I shouldn't remember. Like May 2nd, 3rd, 4th, Taurus birthdays. It's like you guys, especially by Sunday, Venus is going to, by Saturday, Venus moves into the second. Sunday. And then Venus will conjunct loosely Uranus. So it's Venus conjunct Uranus by Sunday. So your natal suns, Taurus 2s, really benefit from Venus. There's just this lovely sense of feeling good. It's like feeling pretty, feeling beautiful, and having a glow about you that's naturally attractive. Conjunct Uranus, it could be a strangeness about it. There could be a weirdness about it. Maybe finding yourself attracted to things that surprise you because you've never been attracted to those things before. They would be different. They would be outside of the box, not just different for you, but kind of odd for everybody. But it's just there's an appeal to that right now. Also an appeal to changing your look, changing the way that you present yourself. This is all something that you could take advantage of this week because Venus will be conjunct your natal sun. And you guys, the moon will be conjunct your natal sun all of Friday. So that's a harmony. When the sun and the moon are conjunct, there's a harmony. There's a wonderful sense of self. When the moon passes over. So there's especially with the moon in Taurus, because it loves to be in Taurus. So there is a solid sense of self, a harmony in the self, and maybe you're feeling good enough to make the changes because you know who you are, right? And like that's, so there's a really kind of positive, optimistic, and confident energy with regards to you guys, or coming to you guys this week. Now, Taurus 3s, you don't have a lot going on, really. There's a conjunction to the midheaven, which could, by Sunday, which could speak to your career. Maybe a sense of all of a sudden you becoming very career-minded and, just career-focused and having a purpose, finding the career that you want. Other than that, I don't see any major transits that are going to be impacting you specifically by conjuncting with your natal sun, except that Venus in general will be impacting you. And going into, so the end of this week ends on the 28th, but after that, Venus will be conjuncting your natal suns. So that kind of beauty can be expected after this week. So I love you guys so much. I hope you'll join me for the tarot card reading over on Born Without Boundaries. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. That way you can participate in the daily astrology chit-chats that we have over here. Like this video if you've enjoyed it. Please share it on your social media platforms. And I will see you guys next week or in the videos. Bye, guys.